I'm not sure exactly what the first Folklife Festival that I photographed was, but it's been a lot of them. I've got the t-shirts to prove it.
I'm Rich Strauss. I'm a chief photographer here at American History. I've been here I just got my 20-year service pin last spring.
My name's Jeff Tinsley. I was a photographer here at the Smithsonian for 29 years, 10 of which I was chief of photography at the American History Museum, and all of those years I was a photographer at the Folklife Festival.
The vastness of it and the incredible music and sound and food smells, everything going on, it was amazing, just amazing. And as a photographer standpoint, at one point where do I begin?
My first festival was actually '76. I came here with family and friends and just kind of toured the festival, and being a photographer, naturally took some photos, but it was mostly a curiosity thing. And when I got to the Smithsonian and found out that that was going to be something we were going to be assigned to photograph, I was really thrilled.
This is a picture that I shot of the Malians constructing this ceremonial gateway framed by the Capitol in the background. I'd just gotten my own digital camera, a little Nikon, and I was walking across the mall on my way home. You know, everybody was framing the Capitol in the background so perfectly. There's some pictures that you take that you can't not take this picture.
First of all, you make a lot of new friends. The performers that are here, musicians, cooks, craftspeople, they see you a lot and you become friends with them. And by the time the festival is over, you're wishing it would go longer.
Yo-Yo Ma sat down in front of it was before everything started, and everybody was sort of in that compound noshing on whatever they had, donuts and coffee and so forth. And he got out his cello and started playing, I think it was the second movement of a Bach suite. It was one I'd studied, so I knew it. And then I talked to him at great length about his cello.
That was a pretty amazing thing for your whole life to hear about the Dalai Lama, who is bigger than life itself, and all of a sudden be sitting or kneeling next to him photographing. Just a pretty amazing experience. The man is in amazing physical condition because he went through to tour the entire site, and he wanted to see every single person that was part of the Tibetan program.
Senegal was here, and the tent, huge tent, it was just jam-packed. People were filled, sitting on the floor making the circle smaller and smaller for the performance, and people were spilling out beyond the tents. You know, you're shooting this and then your mouth drops and then you say, wait a second, I'm not shooting now and I have to get back and shooting.
Well, I find myself a lot of times actually counting time. I find that that's a great way to photograph movement. So music makes it easy because, you know, they'll have 4/4 going and you'll be going 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and you'll try and hit that moment, you know, on a downbeat. The water had receded from most places, and we went into the city to cover the effect of the hurricane on the city. We went down right after Rita had left, and we were in New Orleans in September for a week. One gentleman who came up and played at the festival was Dr. White, and he had lost his entire collection of historical musical instruments that he had in his house. I mean, this was, you know, clarinets that would go back to, you know, the early days of music in New Orleans, and all of them had been, you know, absolutely flooded and lost. And there he was on stage, you know, playing that music from New Orleans, and there was just, you know, a spirit of, I am not beaten. This music is too important. This part of the American fabric is too important. It will not be lost.
I love being here because every week there's some kind of story anyway. And the festival, every hour of every day there's some story.
I think the photographer has the opportunity to see things and capture them, to freeze them in time, and hopefully to look at them in a way that nobody else has ever seen them before.
If you can get them to look at that image, whether they were even interested in that object or not, suddenly they are. And then they'll read the caption. And then they might go further. And that's a process. That's inspiring people to study, to go further than they thought they might.
Still photography is all about moments, and so to me it might be a face that's interesting, it might be a gesture.
If it's very colorful, I'll say, okay, right now I'm going to go look for color schemes that are analogous color schemes or complementary color schemes, or I'll go out with a super wide lens, or I'll go back with a long telephoto lens, and it sort of gives me a fresh look at what everybody's looking at.
Yeah, the idea is to get away from the easy shooting angle of where you stand. Some of the greatest shots are laying down on the edge of the dance floor with a wide angle and shooting up. Going up to the castle roof, shooting from there.
I usually, especially with stage shows, I'm usually the guy on my belly, crawling at the foot of the stage. So, well, this was a gospel group. The youngest member of the group was this young kid playing lead guitar. And what I start noticing is, and I'm shooting the whole time, is that he keeps going farther and farther back. He's leaning farther and farther back with the guitar to the point where one of the gentlemen is actually sort of supporting his head with his hand. I think I love, most of all, photographing music.
I've always been a person who decided that to get up and see the whole scope of things was something that was going to be a unique view that none of those people on the ground would ever get. I've been known to hang out of the side of the helicopter when they took the door off, just put a belt around me and be able to swoop over the crowd, but also just to show the scene of the whole thing. The scope of it is amazing.
Well, you never see anything like this. You start seeing things happen, people from all over the world, all gathered together.
I don't know of anybody else who gets to do the kind of work we have as the guys here at the Smithsonian.
And everybody was willing to teach you, to be patient with you, to take you on to the next step. And that was another thing that was really wonderful about the whole photo unit.
But no matter what I throw at these guys, no matter what they throw at us, we have a pretty good reputation of giving them what they need. It's been real good working with these guys.